Hello and welcome to Homeroom. I'm Nancy Pierce, Communications Supervisor for the Mobile County Public School System. We're about to start school. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how fast the summer went by, but this year's going to be great. Last year was great. This one's going to be even better. Joining me today to talk about the upcoming year and some of our challenges and also our successes and what we're doing, Dr. Roy Nichols, our superintendent. Good to have you back.
Hello, thank you.
It's always nice to talk to you about our wonderful school system.
It is.
We're both pretty big cheerleaders for the system.
It's a great system. We've been going through some tremendous economic downturns that would probably knock most school systems to their knees, and our school system just kept right on ticking, and student performance is going well. I'm very, very proud of our teachers.
So am I. When you think about it, ever since you got here, now we aren't blaming you for the economic downturn, but we could. You've really had to deal with that every year that you've been here. We've had budget cuts.
Yeah, and it's not been fun.
No.
I'd hoped to come here and do a lot of exciting instructional things, and have not been able to do that because there's been no money. All I've done is cut budget and lay off people, and that's not fun at all.
No, but you've done it in a way that it's still, we're able to do our jobs and do them well, and the children are performing. Take a look at what about the AYP scores, our adequate yearly progress? Talk about that for this year. What happened, the test that they took?
Well, you know, last year we had 73% of our schools make AYP because the standards had increased, so that dropped us from 96% down to 73%. And this year, for the immediate past year, the standards were to increase again. And so the conventional wisdom was that our percentage of schools making AYP would drop again,
well, that makes
we've
sense.
always dropped right after the standards increase. And the teachers put forth a superhuman effort because we remained the same. Actually, I got about a half a point more of schools making AYP than we did the previous year. So it's just amazing. I mean, we did very, very well.
So you are a proud papa.
I am. I am that.
But that's really unbelievable that the standards keep raising, and they will continue to raise. They'll go up again this year, don't they?
They're scheduled to, but we just got word out of Washington that the President and Arne Duncan, U.S. Secretary of Education, are thinking about using executive privilege to suspend some of the requirements of the Leave No Child Behind law.
Because by 2014, all students
it's supposed to be perfect by 2014, which is really ridiculous.
Exactly.
And they understand that, and so they're talking about suspending some of those standards for states that have their own testing program, and I think Alabama qualifies for that.
What do you think that has done to the teachers and the students, that the standards kept going up and they were trying to, you couldn't reach perfection? It's got to be a blow to everybody when you try so hard and you work so hard, but you still can't get to that 100%.
Well, yeah, it is frustrating. It has to be. But if you stop and think about where we were prior to No Child Left Behind, there's some good aspects to it in that it forced us to concentrate on smaller demographic groups to see how well they were doing. And we've done really well, and it's helped us concentrate on those small groups that had been forgotten about before, and we've been paying attention to them, and they've been moving. In fact, the test scores that we've seen show that we're closing the gap between the performance of traditionally low performers, which are poor kids, and rich kids. The gap is closing. So so because we're concentrating on them and not just averaging everybody together, we're paying attention to when somebody starts to fall behind, and we're lifting them back up. So there have been some real positive things about the law, but the idea that everyone would be perfect by 2014 is just unrealistic.
2020, 2030, it's just, the whole thing would be unrealistic for perfect. But last year was a good year.
Yes,
we had torchbearer schools, blue ribbon schools. We really were shining throughout the country. We really get a lot of national recognition, don't we?
We have gotten a lot of national recognition. We were looked at. We were one of the finalists for Broad.
And what's that?
That's a private foundation that recognizes and rewards urban schools that do well with student performance, and we were looked at. We didn't win the prize, but we were one of the finalists, so we were real proud to be even considered in that group.
Sure.
We, as you said, we had the most torchbearer schools of any system. Well, actually, we had more torchbearer schools than the rest of the state combined.
Exactly.
So,
and we're getting used to that. That's almost become very normal for us.
It goes on year after year. So we've achieved a great deal of recognition statewide and nationally.
Well, Secretary Duncan visited George Hall last year.
He did.
Because of the work that is being done in this system.
And he mentions it all over the nation as he travels. So lots of good things are happening.
That's great. I mean, that really makes us proud. Makes us all proud.
It should.
How about this year?
I think more of the same. We've got most schools have lost a teacher unit or two. Class sizes might be slightly larger. We've again tried to make those cuts strategically and maintain all the various programs. So I think we'll do well again. I mean, our students are there. They have all the background that they were taught last year.
Right.
And so they're ahead of the curve, and our teachers know how to do it. They know how to teach. And so I think we're going to have another good year.
What would you like to see happen this year? Do you have is there a goal?
Well, I would love to see, we drill down below just the percentage of schools that make AYP, and we look at student performance by grade level. And those test scores, even though the percentage of schools making AYP has dropped, the individual student performance has kept marching right up like a stepladder. I'd love to see that go up one more time.
That's wonderful.
I'd love to be part of that. Although I'll only be here half a year, I'd love to be able to lay claim to that.
It's so hard for me to believe that you are leaving. What would you like people, when you leave, the end of December, until we lock you in a closet, we won't let you leave, which we've already decided we're going to do. But you wouldn't be a very effective administrator in a closet.
It wouldn't be much fun in there either.
No. So, but what would you like your legacy to be? What would you like people to say? Dr. Nichols was here, and he did this for the school system.
He managed well in difficult times. He was fair. Was a good leader. I don't think you can ask for much more than that.
No, I don't think so either. And, personally, I think you've done all three, and that will be your legacy.
I appreciate that.
And to think that you came when the times were very difficult, and you have really turned things around. You have a very good relationship with the school board.
I do. I enjoy each one of them as individuals, and I think that's helpful.
Sure.
But I would take issue with your term, I turned things around. I think the school system was heading in the right direction when I got here. All I did was help it continue.
You did, but you also faced difficult times as far as just the financial times.
Well,
and
we
you
all
had
did.
to come in and put the hammer down, which you did, but it had to be done. What about, as far as, I hate to even bring this up, but Saraland pulled away, and now Satsuma and possibly Chickasaw. What do you think that will mean for the system? What can we do to make sure that bad things don't come out of this?
Well, the greatest difficulty that it causes us is that when a school system pulls away and starts its own system, by state law, we are required to give them the buildings that are in their municipal boundaries. And that's where our schools were built, in that section of the county. So we would lose several schools, and we don't have nearby schools to replace them with, and that's the biggest difficulty. Losing the number of students that they're talking about taking with them, or even losing the tax base in those small communities will not affect us substantially, but losing the buildings will be pretty difficult for us to deal with.
I know you have concerns, and if you don't want to address that, that's fine, but you have concerns about cities that pull out in what they can offer the students, that what they might not be able to offer that we can offer?
As I look at the small systems around the state, they're not able to offer AP level courses or honors courses. It's just the regular general ed courses. They're not able to offer career technical courses. They have difficulty providing for special education students. They certainly don't have any magnet schools like we do that we can offer people an opportunity to transfer to. There's just a whole host of academic things that are they'll be missing, but there are also a lot of social and athletic things that they won't be able to offer. So I just worry about the children that will be pulled away into these smaller systems, and I don't believe they'll have all the advantages academically that they currently have, and I worry about that.
Yeah, well, I understand, and I think parents appreciate that. Another concern is we've had such a great building program. We built so many schools and put additions on, etc. We had money from the government, and now that's pretty much gone. What's going to happen to our building program? What can be done to make sure? Well,
we still have several schools that we've decided to build that will be funded by those federal stimulus dollars. Right. But once that is finished, it's going to come to a screeching halt. We won't, and we've got $365 million worth of facility needs approximately, and we won't be able to tend to those because the money that we use to pay off bonds, we've pledged to pay off these the QZAB and QSCB bonds, which are federal funds.
Right.
So we won't be able to issue more bonds. So unless the state comes through with some or the economy really turns around, which it doesn't sound like it's going to turn around anytime soon, the building program will come to a screeching halt. And I'm not just talking about new buildings. I'm talking about additions to current buildings, new roofs, all kinds of facility improvements will just grind to a halt.
Well, hope maybe the economy can turn around and that will help, and the state will be able to help us out. Again, we hope so because we've done so well, and the money has been spent wisely. Don't you agree? Oh,
I think so. The problem has been that we just don't have enough money. We've got too many needs. And I think that's some of the frustration that the school systems that are thinking about separating are talking about. They wanted an auditorium, they wanted a football stadium, they wanted a brand new school, they wanted this, they wanted that, and we just didn't have the money to do that, and we had to consider the whole county. The whole county has been deprived. We really haven't had enough money to fill the needs countywide, and those particular cities took it personally and decided to pull out because of that.
Barton Academy?
Barton Academy, that's an interesting one. We're about to begin a fundraising effort to try to raise money to preserve that building and create a new magnet school in that facility. So that's kind of exciting. That building needs to be preserved because of its very fine history in the state of Alabama. And I think it'll be nice to have children back in that building again.
I think it will be too. I've always loved that building, and I hate to see it in disrepair, and it gets worse and worse, so something needs to be done. We're about to wrap up, but before we do, how's Wyatt? Dr. Nichols has this wonderful grandson. That's why he's leaving us.
I do.
And how is he doing?
He's doing fabulously well.
Already reading and writing. What is he? So how old is he?
Higher mathematical calculations.
That's what I thought.
I can tell that's what's going on in his mind.
He's
5 months.
5 months old? But he is rolling over and crawling and all. Is he crawling yet?
I don't know. He wasn't. He was rolling over but not crawling last time I saw him. But I will see him real soon, and I'll tell you when I get back.
All right. Sounds good. Well, he is a sweetie pie. Thank you so much. I know you're busy, but I really appreciate you taking time. And we'll do this many more times before you leave us.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for watching and for listening.